Welcome everybody, I'm Burner. This is The Walking Dead Road to Survival, and as the title suggests, I just wanted to do some closing thoughts on the Negan Collection. Sorry for getting this out so late. Few things got in the way, obviously real life, sometimes you just gotta work and make that money to keep things alive. The other is that I just wanted this to be a quality video for you guys. I wanted to sort of prepare and, not just sort of fumble all over the place with ideas. I kind of wanted to have a clear track. So this won't be scripted, but I did kind of put an outline together of things I wanted to hit and talk about. That being said, I know it'll be boring just to stare at the town there, so I'm just kind of going to run some farming in the background and we will get into it. Who knows? Maybe we'll get some good drops. First thing, as usual, even though I'm prepared, I'll probably still mess some stuff up. As always, call me out on my bullshit. If I make mistakes, go ahead and throw it in the comments. I like being kept on the square. You guys keep me honest. What are my overall impressions? I really like the idea that they did with the Negan Collection of having this event that was linked to the museum where, you can earn pieces to piece together a collection and get something valuable. I love the idea. At the end of it, I would say that I'm disappointed. One, I'm obviously disappointed I didn't get Michonne's head and didn't get the 5-star Negan. That's needless to say. But I'm also disappointed that I just didn't feel the value out of it. Tons of people are pissed, and I mean really, really pissed to the point of quitting the game or at least walking away for a while. A lot of those people are people who are pay to play and put a decent amount of money into this event because they saw the value in it and they wanted to chase that 5-star Negan. And I understand that. I really do. I understand why those people are pissed off. I know I would be too if I spent, a couple $100 to grind for Negan tokens and put in the work. But me personally, more disappointed. And part of that goes back to something that I always preach with you guys, and that's expectations. Whether you're doing pulls that are premier recruits or you're making, crate purchases that have a range of items in there. We know the odds aren't good with Scopely. Like, if you've played for any extended amount of time, they just give us shit odds. We just have to be honest about it. But there's something we like about this game. The Walking Dead community and all of its different versions is such a strong community that loves the game and the characters and the world. And unfortunately, Scopely kind of takes advantage of that a bit because they have built a solid game and a very good experience. But man, they make it so frustrating. So always have the right expectations. Don't expect to get the top thing anytime you use coins, spend money, or even put in effort. It's a crapshoot. You've heard me say it numerous times. It's a numbers game. And no matter what the offer is, it's going to be a numbers game with Scopely. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. As much as we gripe about it, the model seems to work and pay off for them. And they're being profitable, and they're a company, so profit's what it's all about. Getting back to it, let's talk about the gripes, the huge gripes of the event. The biggest one has to be Negan tokens ending early. I'm not 100% on this timing, but I think the problem came from the initial event details, which said that the event would end on November 11th at 0700 UTC. And I think it did do that in the sense of dropping tokens and heads. The problem is that when the raid tournament was announced and began, we had this specific quote: "Fight now in the raid tournament, where for the duration of the event," and this is the problem, Scopely put, "where for the duration of the event, each raid victory gets you chances at Negan coins, tokens, or Negan tokens, Rick heads, or Glen heads. And obviously that is a lie because they ended the dropping of the tokens and the heads well early. And part of this is because they keep doing this to events. They'll give us some sort of token event, and then they'll lay on top of it a tournament, and they will stop it about a day early or 12 hours early. They keep doing this. I don't know why they do it. And it confuses players, even though, you know, they usually spell it out. I don't remember them making a worded detail like this mistake in the past. But they'll end it early. And obviously, at the beginning of an event, you know, that may have been a week out, you've forgotten that detail. And we all get kind of pissed off because we, you know, a lot of us plan to hit that last day hard, or, you know, just a day where we might be off hard to catch up. And so it pisses off a lot of people. And I don't think they need to do it. I get that they do it because of money. You know, they can introduce, you know, token bags and stuff. But they usually have a day set aside or 2 days for you to exchange tokens. So they don't need to end it during the event. They can just have the exchange time extend past the event. That way they'd still make money on, you know, say raid cans, you know, whether it be in the bag or the crate of the tokens, all the way through the event. And then they'd still be able to sell these token bags. So they don't even need to do this offset ending. So I don't understand why they do it, other than confuse the shit out of us and get us pissed off. I don't know. Maybe they love trolling us. Maybe that's the whole point, is they get fun in trolling us. But let's move past that. Another gripe is the drop rates. The drop rates were atrocious. You know, for 5,000 tokens to do a pull, when maybe your median drop is 55 tokens, like, that takes a lot of rating. And it takes a lot of farming. And so to have these terrible pulls with terrible rewards, which I'll get to next, is just, it's harsh. And then the fact that you have a shit trade-in value of 100 tokens to one supply point. I mean, you're saying that one pull for a Michonne head is worth 50 supply depot points. You know what would be a great offer? Let me spend 50 supply depot points for a pull instead of having to get 5,000 tokens. Think how much that would please us. I would have pulled the hell out of that wheel to get a Michonne head at 50 supply depot points. But they're not going to do that. So they give you a less value than obviously the time it takes to get into it. And that's frustrating. And what makes it more frustrating is this just abysmal rewards we got this time. And I think this is one of the biggest pieces for the anger and just the vitriol and venom that everybody has after this event, especially those of us that didn't get the Michonne head, is because we didn't get very much either. It was just terrible. I've said it in some of the other videos. A reward in a wheel should not be something that I can farm. If I can go to the world map and easily farm it in, you know, I don't know, 30 minutes, that shouldn't be a reward. Again, if I spend the time to get 5,000 tokens to do a pull, I don't want to get 2 hiking boots that I can get from farming the world stage. That's not a good return on my time, and it's a slap in the face. Scopely could have done so many better things. If you remember back to the Telltale Tokens event, they had 4 stars in there. They had weapons in there. This could have been a great opportunity, you know, with the Negan theme, to put in variations of Lucille for drops. You know, they could have put in lesser characters that are related to the Saviors. They could have put in, you know, other versions of Negan. They could have put in, this would have been a good opportunity as being a museum event. They could have put in some of the exclusive characters that people sold off before the museum became active, and therefore they could have completed some of these collections that are available that now they're sort of stuck on until there's a way. They could have done so many things with rewards that wouldn't have been, you know, game breaking. I'm not saying give us a 5-star every time we do 5,000 pull, but there's so many other things they could have done as rewards that would have made us feel like we were getting value on our time. Which brings me to compensation. And the first one I want to talk about, and I'll explain, I don't think it's compensation at all, and that is the head collections that came up in the museum after the event. You know, the ability to turn in these extra smashed heads for 5-star tokens, 4-star tokens. And this is why I don't think they're compensation, because they popped up relatively short. They popped up, I believe, right after the raid event started. So, you know, that whole last day of the raid event, everybody was talking about bullshit that the Negan tokens dropped, and then this popped up. And that's why I don't think it's compensation. I think they planned for these collections the entire time. The other part is, you know, it's probably possible to throw together the graphics, you know, and the coding to make these collections available within 24 hours. But that doesn't sound like Scopely to me. Scopely has not shown us that they're willing to crack the whips and pull in some overtime to put some of the quality in the game. They kind of just do it on their own time. So I think this was a plan ahead of time, and I don't think it's compensation at all. There are some people that are griping about how it's bullshit, that people whine, they didn't get Negan, and now they're getting free 5 stars. You know, maybe you got one. If you had extra Michonne head, you could have got, you know, a total of 10,000. But most people, you know, were working some amount towards a 5-star token pool anyway. And so that's a little bit of a nice return. But, you know, doesn't really change the fact that I felt like I worked really hard, and then I got a bunch of hiking boots and safety helmets and 2-star basic trainer Burt. No. Another one is going to be compensation. We should be getting it sometime at the end of this week or next week. You know, they told us because of this mistake with the timing on the Negan head that they're going to give us 2,400 5-star tokens, which oddly enough is the exchange rate for a Michonne head and 5 ray cans. First off, let me say this, you know, 24% of a random 5-star pool from the 5-star wheel does not equal 100% of the 5-star we were working towards, you know. So, you know, can they really give it? I don't think they can give us too much more than that. I mean, it is nice. It's one of those things we don't know that would have gotten over Michonne head if we'd have put in more time, but with that, just that level of disappointment, there's really nothing they can do that I think is reasonable that would make it right. And especially for the people that were spending, you know, people that spent a couple $100 and they didn't walk away with much more than just trainers, I can see why you're pissed off, because that's not good value. But at the same time, the people crying for just give me the Negan, that doesn't, I don't think that's reasonable at all. Mostly because that's not how the game should be. This shouldn't be a huge participation ribbon game where if you just show up, you get the best things in the game. That being said, let's talk about what they can do in the future. One, like I've mentioned, I love the idea. I like this. One thing they need to work on is communication, which Scopely is just notoriously bad at. Part of it is just their convoluted schemes, and like I said, ending events within tournaments. The other is they're just bad at communication. Can we talk about the Guardian Specialist skill for a second? That is such a poorly worded description of how it works. It's like a paragraph to try to explain to you how a Specialist skill works. You can do better. There's got to be a way to do better. And so they can definitely improve the communication. My other recommendation is make the event harder. If you saw my video of when I was turning in my extra heads, I was surprised I was able to max out those collections to get 10 redemptions of each of those. I didn't think I had put in that much effort as far as farming those heads. You know, there were at least the last 2 roadmaps. I ran until the tokens were gone, or I got, you know, the ultimate head at the end. But I wasn't raiding for Rick heads. You know, I wasn't farming for Rick heads. I was really surprised I got enough. There needs to be a mechanism that makes it harder and requires more time. And by time, just with most things, it also means money. So there should be a mechanism that rewards you for either putting in more time in the game or spending more money in the game. There just should. You should be rewarding the people that are putting the most into your game, that make it what it is. Obviously, people that spend money make the game what it is because it allows them to develop. But also the people that are putting in the time and trying to be competitive with those people that spend money and who add to the community and talk about strategy and the best ways to use things, they're helping the game too. And you need to reward those people. You shouldn't be able to hark back to the 90s, my boy Warren G. You shouldn't just be some geek off the street that walks up and can finish everything at the snap of a finger. You need to be able to put in some time. So they need to find a better way of doing that. I don't necessarily want to grind 24 hours a day just to meet requirements, but it definitely needs to reward people that are spending more and people that are putting in more time. Lastly, the biggest thing they can do, and I've already talked about it, is make rewards better to lessen the sting of not getting whatever the premier reward or the ultimate goal is. If they can give us quality rewards, and again, they don't have to be game breaking. You don't have to make them all 5 stars in the will, but put some thought into it. Like I said, for a Negan event, throw some Lucille's in there. What are there? There's like 3 different versions of Lucille. Throw Lucille in there. Hell, enough of us have gotten to the point where our major point of progress now is the armory. Throw in some of those nice crit and success armory items in there. You telling me if you put in time, but you walked away with some silver paint and a handful of duct tape, you wouldn't be a little happy even if you didn't get Michonne? I mean, just give us something. Reward us for putting in our time. That's about all I have, guys. I really love the idea. I think they can improve. I don't want them to turn away from it because of all the griping that's happening. It's tough to see, you know, top players, top spenders walk away and quit because of this, but I totally understand it. I mean, I'm very frustrated about it as well, but expectations. Go back to my first video. I was predicting that Michonne Head was going to be the hardest thing in this entire collection. I said it from the beginning. This Michonne Head is going to be the limiting factor. And every time we learned a little bit more, I kept harping on it. This Michonne Head is probably going to be hard. You get your expectations right. Put in the time that you can. Like, don't play this game until it ruins things out in the real world. Because it will. It will make you that much more mad if you miss out. Hopefully, Scopely keeps doing these ideas. I think it was a great idea, a great addition to the game. They need to just do it better. And hopefully it's a learning curve. Hopefully they find ways to do it better, to communicate better, to establish a better hierarchy of rewards. And we'll all come away with it with just having a better experience in the game. But as always, let me know what you think. I know this has been a long video, but I would love to hear your guys' input on this as part of the community. Let me know if you think I'm completely off base and you think, you know, that we just got fucked over all around and that we're not being treated right and they should just give us Negan. Or throw your own ideas in there. How can they improve? As always, if you guys stuck around this long and enjoyed, please like. If you're new and you haven't subscribed yet and this is one of your first videos, man, they're not all this long. Go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to see you guys later. As always, I'll be coming back to you soon. You can tell here from this last farm stage, we didn't get nothing but some 2-star weapons the entire time. Alright guys, I'll see you soon.